start the recording. Okay, so I think we're going to have a short meeting on November 17th, Coalition Working Group online meeting. We got myself, Ed Nodland, Amber, Jim, and Stephanie. Ennis said he wouldn't be able to make it. Several others said the same thing due to a meeting in PB or they're out of town. Myself, and I'd like to hear from you guys. I think the biggest thing we need to do is not spend time talking about stuff that the four of us have already talked about. You know, homeless and De Anza and all that stuff, but talk about where we go from here. The monthly meeting for November was basically canceled, and right after I left Beachtown, Jim showed up. So, and he got a hold of me, so he had a hamburger. And,
yeah, thank you for the
and I felt bad, so I called him up and told him put it on my tab.
That's when I ordered 3 more.
And then last Thursday, I thought I'd see what happened since I sent out a sort of a standing calendar meeting. I thought I'd see what happens if I didn't put out a notice. And nobody showed up last Thursday for the working group, which was fine with me. Things were real busy. I just heard a blip. Did somebody else just join on telephone? Actually, it looks like we lost Amber. She'll probably be back on.
Okay.
And I don't know if you still on, Stephanie?
I'm still on.
Okay.
I got lost.
So here's something on my screen now that I sent to Ennis when he was apologizing for not being able to make it. And I said, don't worry about it. The individual groups are the ones that are getting the real work done. The town councils, beautiful PBs, Bay Park, you know, planning groups.
Yeah.
So I feel that has priority for somebody. They got to go get that work done. So I think our challenge is for the SDC to discover how to provide collaborative services, you know, to these organizations and these individuals that are real busy, that are trying to represent their organizations. And as I put here, in my opinion, we're not there yet because the attendance has been really low. We got a lot of things going. We got involved with the homeless, and we can take a look at a few of those things. On the homeless item, somebody posted in the Homeless Town Council a posting about safe and clean and how they want to employ the homeless to actually clean up the neighborhood, patrol the neighborhoods, and I thought that was a grand idea. You know, so by having meetings, we can disseminate information. We can be a collector of information and disseminator of information. If I go to this list here, let me bring this one up. Where I've tried to categorize the different issues and activities going on, improvements. It's a big list. There's a lot going on, and I don't think, you know, to me it's like, wow, if I personally got involved in every one of these, I'd have to clone myself. Jim seems to be able to do it. You seem to be able to do it, Jim, without a clone helping you, but.
Well, this week, for example, I have 9 meetings, and it's too much.
Yeah.
And, I went to one a couple nights ago with Amber, and she could see how tired I was, so I have to read.
Jim, you had 8 meetings when I saw you, so that means you added another one.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm actually going to a lecture right after this phone call. It's on urbanism. A guy who's talking about he's nationally known, and so that it's going to be over at UCSD, which is, I'm in La Jolla Shores right now. So I wanted to hear what he had to say. It's right along the theme that Ed and I have been talking about. Actually, all four of us have been talking about how to have smart urbanism, which includes housing and transportation. But nonetheless, your point was, what I can say is that we've got something going pretty well in Bay Park. And I think, Ed, you made a comment that it seems to be working. I'm going to a meeting tomorrow morning at Sandag, where it's going to, Sandag board is going to be meeting. It's an issue over eminent domain. So they might release, we're keeping our fingers crossed, they might stop their eminent domain process that they've been going through. And earlier this week, I don't mean to usurp the conversation, but just on a very positive side, in Bay Park, Protea has bought that property, and they have brought on one of the best architects in San Diego, who made a presentation Monday night to the Raise the Balloon Committee and a couple of other key neighborhood leaders. And we were completely blown away. There were 15 of us. We were completely blown away how wonderful the design of that plaza could be, where Sandag wants to put a parking lot. They would accommodate, the developer would accommodate parking spaces at ground level, not subterranean, but at ground level on Marina Boulevard. And it's difficult to describe it. So it's actually 4 stories, but still within the height limit of 30 feet. So we're very, very positive. So if we can get that, that's the linchpin into Bay Park. And boy, this would be a real success story if Sandag dropped the eminent domain and they actually look at the preliminary drawings that the architect has shown us. And we're the Russian judges. It's our neighborhood, and we're going to be as critical as anybody. And each one of us was completely blown away. So we hope to convey that sentiment to Sandag tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and I wish you the best outcome on that one. You guys have certainly done a good effort there. It's these types of things, because I think there are similar, I'll call them battles going on in other communities. And I think this is the, sharing this and learning from each other is what the people that founded the coalition want. I think we need to find a way to deliver that within everybody's busy schedule. And so that's why I've tried to create a web presence and get information on the web and these online meetings, because we don't have to drive someplace for half an hour and park and get in and get everybody organized.
Right.
So let me jump to it. Go ahead,
But
Jim.
if I could just make a comment along those lines. I'll give an example of something that's kind of my participatory part in this Raise the Balloon group. I have always enjoyed architecture. I've kind of told you the story. And so, small world, the architect that was chosen for this particular project is named Frank Walden. Well, I've known Frank for a little while. I've attended lectures where he has been a speaker. And so I always talk to him afterwards. And so the head of Raise the Balloon, James Lamattery, and I have had 2 or 3 one-on-one meetings with him at his office, and he's always been interested. We had no idea, nor did he, that he would be part of the project. And what I'm describing is a building of a network. It's not because I'm anything great, but you just start putting pieces together, like the little conversation that we had earlier this week at Starbucks, where we had John Zebarth, who's just a wonderful guy and architect, and Alan Hoffman. You never know what's going to stick. Right. And just like with James Lamattery, he's sent out feelers, built his network, and once in a while things stick, and if this thing goes through tomorrow with Sandag, I think it's going to be just huge. But the moral of the story is that there's been a lot of groundwork that's been done, and making connections. Kind of one of the points that you make. Who are the decision makers? We need to be talking to the right people. Now, that's working a specific topic. Now, I think part of the issue that you're describing, Ed, is are we a clearinghouse, or do we work specific issues, or kind of the existential, who are we and what do we want to be? And the other part is getting people to attend, either over the internet or in person or whatever, given that we're very busy people.
Yeah, and I think now that there's just about a year under our belt, I think it's time to go out and actually attend at least one, maybe two of the meetings a month, and where we actually get on their agenda, present the mission. I think we need to refine the mission, reflect on it and refine it. Present the mission and ask the question, how can we help you? How can these things fit in? And potentially those can also, if we can get people from different communities to come as part of our presentation and share what's going on, so that when we go to Mission Beach, they hear from PB, they hear from Bay Park, they hear from Ocean Beach if we can get them involved. You know, we go to Ocean Beach and we make a present. Maybe we present first at the communities that aren't involved, and then tell them next month, would you guys like to join us and present to Mission Beach what you're doing? And then next month we go to Point Loma, you know, we say, hey, would you like to join us when we go to Pacific Beach? You know, along with OB and Mission Beach. And so maybe something like that is sort of a next step in the growth of this.
I like the idea, and it would mean just doing a little bit of work up front to contact those specific groups, so we get put on the agenda, and not just a 2-minute presentation, because you can't say much in 2 minutes, because the next guy is right behind you, or the next woman, and so it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. But I think that's a great idea, and just let them know who we are, what we're about, and how we might be able to help each other. Yeah. And I think it does open up some minds.
Yeah, and I think we need another thought, just like when we have our monthly meetings, that we have some sort of an outline like this, simplified a bit, so that every time somebody talks about a project, they can say, well, it's not on your chart, but if it was, it would be right over here, or it'd be right down there, you know? And so it adds some focus, and people can start to see that across the communities, they fit into this outline of issues being worked in a common way.
Yes. And on that thought too, Ed, I know you expressed some thoughts about our post-meeting thoughts regarding Alan Hoffman and transportation, and I agree with what you said. You know, he's the guru, and he may not necessarily be the best messenger, but I think he's in the process of reaching out to certain groups. But that, to me, just that concept of a common thread among a lot of different communities, if we could kind of clean up some of that or help him in his endeavor, I don't know how we're going to do that, tag team with him, so we could, because it's a common issue whether you're in Ocean Beach or Point Loma or wherever in San Diego, the transportation issue, and he's got a really well thought out plan. He's the smartest guy around, but he's not necessarily the best messenger as much as he is trying. So I don't know, that's just kind of a random thought that I think it would be very helpful for us to get in front of these groups, get put on their agendas, and then have maybe 5 or 10 minutes or how much they allot us, not 2 minutes, something more than that, and just kind of describe the benefits, and here are some examples, whether it's homelessness or transportation.
On that note, I just added an action item to our meeting notes here, to consider getting Alan in to the January SDCC meeting and have him do his presentation. Give him a good half an hour. And that could be something that actually attracts people in.
Well, it could. Coincidentally, I happened to run into a woman who was attending our meetings, the SDCC. She was the bicycle woman out of Ocean Beach. Her name is Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to run into her over the weekend, and she said, "Oh, she really would like to continue to be a part of our group." So maybe it's just reaching out to people, making the extra effort. I don't mind reaching out to her, but when I talked to her, I was talking about Alan's transportation plan, and she was very interested in it. So I don't know, it just seems like we're having a bit of a challenge getting people interested, so much so that they attend most of the meetings, not necessarily all of them because we have such busy schedules, but
Yeah.
I think that's where we should put some effort. And I like your idea about getting on agendas at certain groups.
Yeah, and if we can get with 4 opportunities a month on Thursdays, if somebody can just make one of the 4 each month, I think that's great. That's all it takes. That shows they're involved, they're interested, they get their chance to hear what's going on, and if we can get people posting stuff online so we can see what's going on, I think it'll really grow. Is Nicole on our list, do you know? I was gonna open this up.
I don't know. She's attended a couple of meetings.
Yeah, I don't see a Nicole in my spreadsheet. Huh.
Well, I can forward her contact information.
Yeah,
but she is like the bicycle.
Or go ahead, anybody can invite anybody onto the Facebook page. I think that's going to be the best place to send out messages and notes through that.
Yeah, and just keep reiterating that as well.
Oh, wait, here it is, Nicole Burgess.
And by the way, I did read the Facebook comment that you either wrote or forwarded about the homeless, and basically kind of giving them a purpose and putting them to work. I don't know how it would happen, but I think it's just that whole principle of teaching a man how to fish or a woman how to fish. So it's things like that. Once we start cross-pollinating more and more, and not lose faith, I guess we have to have it at some point. Do we continue to exist, or how should we modify what it is that we're doing? But just try different methods of doing things to get people involved.
Yeah, I think we continue to exist because what I'm bringing into this is not business as usual, and I recognize it's going to take some adapting to find a way to bring doing business in a new way to a place that fits what people are looking at, or looking for. So.
Yeah, and on that note too, Ed, I think given the state of affairs in our country, I think that there might be more hope in groups like ours to really be able to speak up and kind of guide where we want to be going as a country.
Yeah.
So it's just that we're just in the very infancy of trying to do that.
Right.
Maybe I'm disillusioned. Maybe this is a pipe dream. But what are your thoughts?
There's days that are a little disillusioning, if that's a word. But I know it's not going to be easy. It's like anything else. We write software, and the hardest part about it is marketing. You can have the best program out there, and if you can't get to the people that would use it, it's not going to go anywhere. So, and that's the same as what we're offering here. So I put down an action item myself. I'll give Nicole a call. I see she is on the list here, Nicole Burgess.
Okay,
says resident.
great.
Doesn't say from where. I put down OB. I'll confirm that when I talk to her. Just to hit all the topics while you're still on here, what do all of you think about trying to put together the San Diego Coastal Coalition meeting more as a dinner social? You know, everybody has the expectation we're going someplace. You will be buying a dinner. We'll sit and talk. We'll get a private room, so our noise won't be interfering with restaurant noise and vice versa. And it's basically a time to just let everybody talk as a group. You know, maybe we go around and it's a little one-on-one while we have some drinks and stuff, and then as we get into eating, you know, everybody can just talk in the smaller groups amongst themselves, and then near the end of dinner, we come back and reflect on what you talk about, what ideas do you have? You think?
I definitely feel like that would get people to want to go because, for example, sometimes you just get sick of work or meetings and you don't want to do anything after work except for like relax or enjoy yourself. And having that conversation will allow you to relieve yourself of, you know, information that you've been wanting to express, but also enjoy the experience on the one-on-ones and networking and building relationships, kind of like almost like networking events, how they do it.
Amber, what are your thoughts about actually getting people to attend? We had that, the first attempt like that at Beachtown. Do you think it's going to be harder to get people to show up? We're talking about two things. One is, you know, a physical presence, and the other is a different way of doing business, so to speak. We're not doing business, but we're trying to promote a cause. So it would be a much more casual way of doing it. So what do you think about those two aspects?
I think I'm sorry, Jim, can you since you're asking me two questions at once, I need to write it down.
Okay, So one has to deal with physically showing up. When you go to dinner, you have to physically be there.
Okay.
So it means that we'd need a certain critical mass of people to show up, and you know we wouldn't expect that to happen every time.
Right.
Once we perhaps try that, my question is, do you think that people have enough time and are willing to go ahead and make the commitment if we do that, say, once a month, or, you know, you fill in the number, how often that's done. So that's one aspect of it, who can actually show up for it to be successful. And the second point is just a different strategy. It's a lot more informal. It's not all about business, so to speak. So what are your thoughts on those two aspects?
I feel like, for example, networking groups are really big. So people do like to go network, and they like to even pay for it. People pay to network. And some people might be looking for a job. Other people might be looking for partnership or looking for someone to do business with. So there's many reasons why people network. So the social aspect, I think, if people pay to do networking, maybe just the way you market it, it could be more of a networking / political event. And then maybe we'll get people who are interested in politics, and maybe even people the councilmen, all the members, they have their assistants and people, they're young people who are interested in politics. Maybe we'll get more people who are interested in that kind of stuff that might want to get involved, like school people who go to school usually are very political and the political correctness. So I think the physical part for people, especially in our demographic, I think we like to go do physical things like hang out, be with people, be around our friends. And I really think that there's a lot of really cool people to hang around. I like hanging out with you, Ed, Henish, Paula. Those are very interesting people, Marcella. And I like hanging out with you guys and learning from you guys. And maybe we can think of ways to make it fun so people do enjoy it, also get to know each other. Building that relationship builds a really strong bond between people. So then if we can build a, friendship bond, we can build more political bonds and more strength just based on interaction, because that's always very positive as far as energy and force, just having that positivity. So maybe we'll just have to strategically figure out what places would be the best environment, and then think about like how much time people can spend at this event. And I mean, people do go to networking events. Stephanie and I went to one, and a lot of people showed up.
So you've given me some new ideas, because I was suggesting this as a one-time sort of an annual, and it's around the holidays, of the members, but also anybody that is active on any of these organizations. So, the entire Mission Beach Council could come, or the entire Raise the Balloon group or whatever over in Claremont could come. But also what you're describing is socials that are open to the public as a way to bring some new people in. And I really like that idea as well. I think those might be better on a quarterly basis myself rather than monthly.
Yeah, that's fine. Quarterly is good, but we can also make it more like a networking political stance, sure, or community stance, or whatever you want to say that we're trying to promote.
Yeah, and we could put something into Meetup. We could create a monthly.
Yeah, we could do Meetup
group that is sort of a networking. It's like the coalition networking group that's open to the public to come into some space, and whoever shows up are the people that show up.
Yeah.
So that can. I like those ideas.
I feel like that would be able to make physical come into play and still having people want to spend time there. Because think about how much time we spend after the meeting socializing with each other. Like right. Corinne, how we met Corinne, and she's really cool. She's from, Rose Creek, and we would talk to her after the meeting, or other people that we haven't seen in a while. So,
right.
And you learn a lot from each other at that point, because like Jim's been doing 9 meetings, and next time we see him, we're going to know the meetings and the topics and all that information. So then we can make the decision whether we want to support it, not support it,
So,
and it's a way to share information as well. That's more exciting.
Do you have any thoughts on this, Stephanie?
Excuse me, guys. I'm going to have to leave the call. I'm at a restaurant, and my dinner was served about 10 minutes ago.
Okay, I'm so proud of you, Jim. Thank you for going to that Urbanist meeting. That's awesome.
Yeah, I look forward to bringing information back, which I'll share with you guys.
And hopefully it's over a drink in the San Diego Coastal Coalition group meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Bye, Jim.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye, Jim.
Bye.
So,
but I definitely think Meetup is good, and also
I think it's
be able to
try,
share exciting information.
For sure.
So if we were to do something for the second Tuesday of December, that's the 13th. I'm gone.
I think someone at the San Diego Coastal Coalition networking event should do notes. So maybe they could go around to groups and stuff as the party's going on and try to see what people are talking about.
Well, my biggest thing is what kind of a space do we get? Because how can we assess if you need a space for 5 or for 50?
Yeah, so maybe our first time we can just have it in a space where it's going to be easy to accommodate if we had to, so we can choose a location that maybe is not as popular on certain off times.
Right.
And know that we'll be able to enjoy the entire space if we had to. Yeah. And then see how busy it gets if we do like a public invite.
A great space is an example, but it's not available in the evening, is the Broken Yoke up on Garnett. They have a
Oh.
private room that holds, I would say, 10, 20, 30, a good 50 people. There's 4 or 5 of us that meet there once a month on Fridays, in the space for 50. And they can accommodate that stuff, but they're not open for dinners.
Okay, so that would have to be on the weekend. Likely if it was going to be at Broken Yoke. Let's see. We can even just do it. Like Crush sometimes. Is that ever like slow? Only in the middle, maybe in the
Middle of the
afternoon,
day,
like
yeah,
around 5
yeah,
or 6?
Yeah.
Not really. Sometimes. Even on
Like on a
weekdays, it's
Tuesday,
busy.
though. Like we could do it on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and it could be like a fun environment, and see if we can get people to show up that way too.
Yeah,
So
a
we
lot
can
of the
try
people that
different
work,
ways.
I can talk to Amy and see what she thinks. Tuesday, I think.
She had an art show there, Veronica's art show, and it was kind of cool that we were able to see the art and talk and stuff. But if it gets too loud, I don't want something too loud.
Well, and if she's half full, that doesn't leave much room because she doesn't have that big of a footprint. So let's see if we can come up with the space first. If we can do that in the next few days. So an action item here is everyone look for a space that can accommodate 5 to, I bet we'd have at least 10 show up, accommodate 10 to 30.
They did it at a bar downtown, and because they had like a separate one side and the other side. I don't know if there's a concept out there like that, but it worked out good because they had one side, they just closed it off, but it was like 2 different sides to the bar, so you could have one available for the everyday people and the other one for the event. I'm sure we can think of something and talk to business owners. They're pretty cool as long as we tell them in advance.
There is the fish, Bay Park Fish Company has a room in the back. It's a separate room. We had one meeting there. It was a little noisy for us from the restaurant part, and we can probably get 20.
Is there any place in Mission Beach that would be good? Because Mission sometimes doesn't get that busy like PB does. And they have bigger spaces than Mission Beach. You know how they have those big spots?
Think about parking too.
There is the big meeting room there, but you gotta drop like $300 just to use the room right out the gate. It's not just dinner.
No, something like that, like the ale place or the place next to it. I know there's a lot of new places over there.
You're talking Mission Beach
Marina
or
Boulevard
Pacific
too far?
Beach?
Is Marina Boulevard too far?
No.
Okay.
Anyway,
maybe.
That's a good place because you have parking for everybody. If your group is going to be big, it's easier to find parking.
Usually slower and easier to get around.
Yeah. So I always
we'll think about Marina too. We'll take a look at that. Okay, well that sounds like something that we could definitely achieve and accomplish. At least do one networking event, and we can also just say, share your group's efforts, and then see how we can get involved with each other to support each other if we agree with what the stance is. But I like that.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and do that. Everybody look for a possible potential space. What I'm envisioning is it's a place.
Should we do this in January so that way it's in a short, like a slower period after everybody's done with all the holiday stuff?
I was wondering that too, if we should just
do that.
Just make it like after the 1st, so that way everybody's back from vacations and everything. and family and everything that they're going to be doing. They're going to be so busy.
Less conflict.
So that will be our first one. We'll have more time to think about it. We can talk about this in our next meeting and continue to see how this idea can play out as far as a quarterly event to get us going more often. And then also we can keep having our weekly meetings and come up with more ideas on how to get people together.
Okay.
But I do like phone calls every week. It's nice to be able to talk and see what's been going on too. And maybe Hanish can share his meeting next time.
Yeah, plus I think the first meeting was in February, so this will actually make this like the...
Should we also have, like what you said, group, inviting a whole group, like Raise the Balloon, and having other groups meet each other? So we can share also strengths, like how Elvin shared with us his ideas.
Right.
And we can gain strengths through each other too.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can energize each of these different organizations to start working on their presentation. If we can get masses of people to show up from different communities to come for a presentation, you know, we all go to Mission Beach to show up and say, what are you guys doing? Tell us about it. And then because
where they gain their strengths, we just need to duplicate it. And then where we've gained our strengths, we can share and they can, you know, duplicate based on getting things done in our community.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you want to continue on a different topic, or do you want to just cancel now that we're at the 5:40 mark and we can continue next week?
Yeah, just a second. Let me get this one thought down here. Invite organizations to prepare a presentation. Okay. Well, the other topics was, let's see, would be planning for 2017. And I'd rather do that with, you know, 5 people instead of 3. And right now we don't have anybody here. Jim is the only one that actually represents an organization. Although he counts for several because he represents lots of organizations. He goes to so many meetings. And I don't think there's any point in going to any of these topics. If you have something you want to share with me though, or between the two of you, go ahead. Amber's muted. I don't hear anything from Stephanie.
Oh, hello. I'm here.
The addendum for Claremont plan is coming up, so we're just keeping an eye in Claremont what the city has as far as their plan for Claremont. So I went to the meeting for that, and so it's just at the 2-year mark, so they're going to be doing that for the next 2 years. So that's one thing that I would be just bringing to the table as far as going to those meetings, and then PB Town Council.
Yeah, great. You know, something else I'll mention is I do have Google Analytics on the SDCC website, but I've never gone out and looked at it. I'm going to put that down here to review the analytics on SD.
And if we can invite more people to the Facebook page of SD Coastal Coalition, it would just be powerful, because the more people who see the posts that we post, the better.
Yep.
That's why I just wanted to invite people. So Stephanie, if you have any interested people who would want to help out organizations and help causes or to make good in their community, just add them, and then Ed will approve.
Yeah, I think though I think we do want to go after people that do have that community interest like yourselves though.
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah,
put
for
1,000
sure. Not
people
just
on there.
adding.
Because if this
No,
starts
but
to turn into your typical Facebook, rant back and forth, I'll be shutting that stuff
Yeah.
down because this is not the place
I
for a
don't like
rant.
that. I don't like that.
Yeah. I wrote.
And I felt like,
Go ahead.
I feel like with topics, everything, someone always has something to say, so you can't really stop that 100%,
Yeah.
especially on social media.
Yeah. I wrote something on a Facebook post. I don't remember which one it was now, just recently. And I said, remember when you look at this, think about what it would take to implement this rather than thinking about all the reasons this won't work, what would it take to implement this and make it happen? Oh, I know, it was on those wee houses, the tiny
Tiny home.
homes, yeah, and I said, wow, is there a solution hiding in here? Let me bring that up on Facebook. Where was this one here?
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, so could there be a low-cost temporary homeless housing solution hiding here? Important tip, don't look for why it won't work. Instead, answer the question, what would we have to do to make it work? And, we're going to get people
That's what we need to learn from each other.
Yeah, we're going to get people that, have that attitude of, oh, that won't work. But the more people we can bring in with this attitude of, how can we make this work? That's gonna take us places. Okay.
Okay.
I will post this video online and we'll see how many views they get. I don't know, is there a, let me see here. Also, if people are using the group, you can tell them there's a search feature. Working search. Okay, this video was seen by 7, so 7 people watched that working group meeting. 10 watched that one, so we are getting views. 14 saw that one. Okay. Anything else?
Nope, not on my part.
I'll end the